Well, hi once again, folks. I'm Henry Stevens, BJ from the Golf Clinic in Perth, Western Australia. I'm just putting this little video up today, and I want to talk a bit to you about fitting of equipment. The way the market works out there today is we're sort of led to believe that when it comes to golf clubs, a set of golf clubs is a set of golf clubs and one size fits all. And quite frankly, nothing could be further from the truth. Indeed, what other sports that you play, if you're a sports-orientated person, where you have a scenario where one size fits all? None. So when it comes to fitting, what are we looking at? Okay, firstly, let's look at a golf club. We've got the head of the golf club, we have the shaft of the golf club, and we have the grip on the golf club. When it comes to the irons themselves, essentially you're going to get three design types, no matter what the manufacturer is. You're going to get offset base weight, offset toe weight, or blade style. Normally you'll find the offset base weight and the offset toe weight are in the low to the middle end of the market, and when you get up to the high end of the market you get your blade configuration, hence more for the better player. Now, when we're looking at fitting golf equipment, the variables are, and this is relevant to the individual's height, arm length, and to a certain extent how wide they are across the shoulders. So we're looking at length and lie angle, shaft flex, grip thickness, shaft height. So as you can see, they're just the basic variables in fitting. And it's very important to get the clubs that fit you correctly, because that sets up your posture. And I'll be putting a little bit of information behind this on how posture works. Now let me talk about the lie angle of a golf club. What's a lie angle, I hear you say? If I sit this club on a flat surface, this angle here at which the shaft comes out at, this sets up the lie angle of the golf club. If you're a very tall person with short arms, you need the shaft extended and made longer, and you're going to probably need a stiffer shaft because it's longer. And as a rule of thumb, you're going to need this lie angle bent up. The reverse of that, if you're a very short person with long arms, you're going to need less length in the shaft, and you're going to need to have this lie angle adjusted down. Now, as a rule of thumb, most people out there are playing with clubs that are too short for them and too flat for them. Has a bit to do with technique too, granted. Pardon me. In fact, the better the player, the flatter the lie angle will be. So what's the ramifications, or what is a flat lie angle? Well, before I go into that, the other thing you need to be aware of when it comes to how the club performs when you swing it, it gets a thing called deflection in it, and that can be anything from 2 to 7 degrees depending on the flex of shaft and the power you generate in your technique. So as a consequence, if you have the club sitting flat on the deck at address, by the time you get back to the ball, chances are it's going to come in toe deep. And then the physics of that are, this is going to dig into the turf, the heel's going to keep travelling, and you get it. It's going to leak out right. This is for the right-hander, obviously. And that's the most common. The least common is the reverse, where an individual's they're playing with a set of golf clubs that are way too long or too upright for them. As they come back down into impact, the heel of the club will dig in, the toe will flick over, and the ball will go left. Now, this is indicative of long irons either way, right down to about your 8, perhaps 9 iron, and then you'll find things will straighten out, and there's a couple of reasons for that. So that's an overview of what's required in getting the fit of club right. Getting the shaft flex right for the individual, obviously, the length right for the individual's height and arm length, and the lie angle right to set the correct posture. At impact, we want that club coming through dead square. And you just check for it yourself. If you get out next time you're on the range, get out in the grass patch, hit a couple of mid-irons, and just see whether the divot's toe deep or heel deep. That's a good little quick way of just checking if they're right for you. So that's a bit of an overview on what's involved when it comes to fitting. And I'll just put something in behind this with a little bit of video graphic explaining the posture and spine angle, etc. So let the learning begin again. Cheers. Okay, so let's talk a little more about fitting. I've just brought up a couple of pro models. The most important angle to maintain in this game, to play the game consistently well, is what we call our spine angle, or our tilt from the waist. And now obviously it doesn't take rocket science to work out that if you're playing with clubs that are too small for you, you'd be bent over a lot more from the waist, or you'd be squatting in the knees. And if you were standing up, or if the clubs were too long for you, you'd be standing up fairly vertically, you'll have no posture at all. That's what we call this posture, how we get our spine angle in the set of the knees. So we've got a good athletic position to start from. So just as I wind these both models back,
Notice how on the way through they maintain that tilt from the waist and they keep their height. Something you won't do incidentally if you don't work your hips properly, and you'll never work your hips properly if you're not aligned properly. You may recall my last video I put up on alignment. Again, we have a look at the model on the right. As we wind him back, notice again how his hips work to afford him the ability to maintain that spine angle. Now the other thing you'll pick up here, notice how you've got a little bit of bending in the shaft. So he's gone from basically there at address, so the shaft's nice and flexed. You'll notice where his hands are here. Everybody does a bit of this, but lesser players do it a lot more. Now, as we come through, his hands will come through a little higher, okay, and a little further out, and again, notice that bowing of the shaft. Now that has an effect on, as I was showing you earlier, the dynamic lie angle of the golf club. That golf club has now come in more toe down than what it was when it started. Now, if most people out there that play the game are playing with clubs generally, as a rule of thumb, that are too short for them, and as a consequence too flat in the lie angle. So what that equates to is at impact, in particular with the longer irons down to the 8 or 9 iron, the toe of the club will impact the planet first. The physics of that are that the heel then keeps travelling, so the club face opens up, and then you've got a scenario where it's putting side spin on the ball or left to right spin. And depending on the path of the club, the plane of the club on the way through, it'll either start left and peel back right, or start straight, leak off right, or go right, right. Again, that's dependent upon the plane, the through swing plane of the club. So that's why fitting's important. Everybody that plays this game wants to gain more consistency in their game, and indeed that's what you've got to do to get down to a low handicap. To play consistent golf, it makes sense that you start from the same position in setup, be it a sand iron or a driver, and that's why fitting of golf clubs is so important. You know, they'll tell you that one size fits all in golf. Nothing, my friends, could be further from the truth. Indeed, what other sport, if you've played a lot of other sports, where it's a scenario where one size fits all? Hockey, tennis, you know, all sports. You're varying fits and sizes of pieces of equipment that you use for the game. So we continue on a little bit more, and some more videos talking more about fitting. I hope you found the information